Hey everybody. So I've been watching the stock market the past few days, like a lot of people have, of course, and I've got some thoughts about it. But sadly, just given the nature of my work here, my thoughts always seem to come back around to how corrupted and embarrassing the conservative Christian movement in America has become because they're following their leader, Donald Trump, down the drain. And so, with every story like this, in this case, the tariffs and the stock market, the details can change about what people are concerned about, like almost on a daily basis, because like the mega universe just keeps shifting its rhetoric, I think, to keep its white Christian base angry and fearful and off balance. And right now, they're being told that they're supposed to support these tariffs for some reason. But by the end of every news cycle, it seems like I just finally circle back to the same thought, which is wow, once again, these people who support Trump and call themselves Christians are just proven to be some of the most corrupt human beings in the world. And I hate to say that about an entire group of people. It doesn't include all of them, but it's just becoming so embarrassing and so sad. So I just want to believe that that sort of dismal cycle that we're in can change. So I'm just going to say, with hope in my heart, that maybe this time with these tariffs, that Christians really are going to wake up. So let's look at these tariffs. So when Trump held his Liberation Day press conference, it struck me as part Benny Hill, part Benny Hinn, and 100% like the work of a seventh grader who bullied his friend Poindexter into writing a book report for him the night before class. And my first thought when I watched that press conference was the same one that I've had every day for months now about the other things Trump has done, which is basically look what Trump just did today. Like, surely this is going to show Christians why we don't put an ignorant, sociopathic narcissist in charge of the most powerful government in the history of the world. And that's always my first thought, bless my heart. I keep believing that now at last people are going to see. And yeah, every time so far I've been let down. But when it comes to the tariff thing, Trump took the cruelty and the ignorance, I think, to a whole new scale. And so this one abusive guy just willfully chose to destroy the economic peace of billions of people around the world. And to accomplish what? Like, we can't stop reminding ourselves that Donald Trump is one of the very few sentient beings in the history of the universe to figure out how to bankrupt a casino. I mean, I don't know if intelligent life exists anywhere else in the universe, but if it does, I'm confident that whatever form it takes, 7 legs, tentacles for ears, thumbs instead of toes, whatever, that form of life has never bankrupted a casino. Donald Trump appears to have thought briefly about tariffs one time back in the 1980s, and having expended that grueling 3 minutes of slow brain work, he's never revisited the initial shallow and misguided understanding that he formed way back then when people wore the pastel suits and Miami Vice haircuts. So the Republicans in Congress willingly handed this guy absolute power to impose tariffs on any country that he chooses, in any manner that he chooses, on the flimsy excuse that we're now in some kind of global emergency. And this is the important part for me. Most of those Republican leaders know this is bad policy, but they don't dare to oppose Trump in any meaningful way because they're afraid of Donald Trump's base, a base that overwhelmingly calls itself Christian. So, the buffoonery of this whole thing just, I think, might end up being so outrageous that I've actually allowed myself to wonder if this might actually be the big one. Maybe this time Trump's Christian voters are going to clutch their chests and feel for the first time the pain and the panic that they gleefully were trying to inflict on their enemies when they voted for this guy. When they voted for a convicted criminal who was promising to be their retribution, like whatever that meant to them. Like, I don't think that's going to happen for all of them, to be sure. I don't think most of them are going to get it. I'd estimate that 30% of Americans are probably in the cult. And a lot of those people also identify as Christians, which I say to the church's everlasting shame. And that 30% are going to just gladly live on a cold and dirty sidewalk if that's what it takes to ensure that the people that they hate are living on a colder or a dirtier sidewalk than they are. So I'm not really trying to change them, but a lot of Christians who voted for Trump are more casual in their support for him. And I do hope that this economic train wreck might be the thing that starts to wake them up. And I do hope that they start pressuring their Republican representatives to bring Trump under control. That would be a good thing for sure for a lot of people in the world. And one bright shoot in that direction is the fact that several Republicans in the Senate have co-sponsored a bill to take back their tariff authority from Trump. And who knows whether that's going to pass in the Senate or not. And if it does, I'm pretty skeptical that the House is even going to consider it. But it's a start. So given that, though, say that all worked out. Here's what really bothers me. Why are we even talking about tariffs to Christians? Like why are tariffs the issue? How did we get to the point as Christians in America that we have to make arguments to our supposed brothers and sisters in Christ that are grounded in the pain that they might experience in their 401ks? I don't get that. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take any movement away from Donald Trump in the hope that once someone feels the pain that he's inflicted on them personally, then they might be able to connect the dots to the pain that he's been inflicting on millions of people all along. But how sick have we become if it takes a completely avoidable economic catastrophe to wake up so many Christians to the importance of character in the person that they elect to the President of the United States? Like, I've tried to say this for so many years, and for years, I've had so many Christians push back on me with like some really juvenile Sunday school understanding of morality and character. Like their own character just seems to have been ill-formed by their churches to the point that I think a lot of, especially evangelical Christians, tolerate authoritarian abuse. And oftentimes they even elevate that kind of activity as like a sign of strong leadership. Morality and character for too many Christians, I think, can be boiled down to simply keeping your pants up. So even though I never made Trump's like sexual antics an important part of my argument against him, a lot of evangelicals especially only seem able to think about morality and character in terms of sexual ethics. So a lot of those people, when I would talk to them, wouldn't listen to my actual words, but they'd respond as though my understanding of character and ethics is as vacuous as theirs is. And that's why hundreds of people have told me over the years that I didn't vote for a pastor, I voted for a president. And I don't care about who he sleeps with, I just care about his policies. So I just want to say this one more time, and not one last time, because I'm going to be saying this for the rest of my life, but one more time I want to say, character is policy. An abusive character is going to lead to abusive policies. A dishonest character is going to lead to policies that are based on lies. And a character that's consumed by hatred and revenge is going to lead to policies that are going to destroy the institutions that make for peace, whether at home or around the world. So it's bad character that demonized immigrants for years and years as a political tool. And it's bad character that sent innocent people to a concentration camp in El Salvador, along with some alleged gang members. Some of the people that were sent there were innocent. And it's bad character that refuses to end the torture of those innocents and to bring them back. It's bad character that instead fights all the way to the Supreme Court today for the ability to prolong their suffering. A character that's ignorant and unwilling to learn. A character that views world economics as a zero-sum game of winners and losers. A character that displays zero capacity for empathy for the people that one harms by one's actions. That sort of character pulls a stunt like Trump pulled last week with the tariffs. And it's only an unspeakably bad character that would lead a president after that, while the nation is reeling from his tariff decision this weekend, to skip the dignified transfer of the bodies of 4 U.S. soldiers in order to play golf and party with the Saudis. The Saudis, some of the worst human rights abusers in the world. I can't do anything about Trump's low character, but I can call out the low character of his supporters, his mostly Christian supporters, self-identified Christian supporters, whose character has apparently been sorely ill-formed despite decades of hearing the gospel, whatever that even means anymore. So thanks for listening.